Tonight, we celebrate our Hispanic community as part of Hispanic Heritage Month.
From Grand Rapids to the Lake Shore, we'll show you the vibrant cultures in your community. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Susan Shaw.
And I'm Brian Sterling. We start tonight highlighting a group working to protect migrant workers. West Michigan employs more farm workers than any other part of the state. There are 200 migrant camps in Kent and Ottawa counties alone, and they house thousands of essential workers who travel here to put food on your table.
When families sit down to dinner and they enjoy their fresh local food, everything that's healthy on their plate probably passed first through the hands of a migrant farm worker family.
Susan Sample shows us how Grand Rapids-based Migrant Legal Aid ensures the workers have what they need to live.
This is totally unscheduled, so a lot of times the farmers will come out.
It used to make Molly Spock nervous, potential run-ins with farmers.
See, I bet this is his house right here.
But not anymore, not after 4 years inspecting migrant camp conditions.
So every labor camp will have sort of different style housing. Some of them will be little cottages like this. Some of them will be old trailers. Hang on, let me talk to them. Hello.
Spock can show up at farms unannounced because of an early 70s court case that allows outreach workers to visit migrant camps, often located near the farmer's home, without the property owner's permission or even knowledge.
We poke around, as you can see, in the units and make sure there's no housing code violations.
But that's not all Spock does.
Hola, ¿me recuerdas? The main overarching goal is to establish rapport with the workers. Meeting them and letting them know that we're here is really important.
A loudmouth right there, a punk mother. That's what that is.
It was Migrant Legal Aid a worker turned to when a grower was caught on camera spewing racist venom before spitting on a worker.
And get the out of here while he still can.
Spock's agency helped the worker make a police report, and prosecutors filed an assault charge against the grower, whose farm we did not visit, by the way. At the 5 camps we did check out,
I just don't know why this is the way it is.
Spock investigated what appeared to be an outdoor shower, checked for hot water in another less than ideal bathroom facility.
Oh, it is getting hot.
Took note of some questionable trailer foundations.
It seems like it's sketchy underneath all of these units.
And did a trash check.
So last week this trash was overflowing. I always look for this too.
These days, Spock also checks camps for COVID-19 guidelines. And proper protective gear. These clothesline masks at one camp suggested workers were forced to reuse them. And makeshift dividers between bunks suggested the grower wasn't allowing for proper spacing.
¿Cuántas personas viven aquí?
At another Sparta area camp, 6 Apple workers from different parts of Mexico, roommates here, said they'd all undergone the required COVID-19 testing and didn't mind it. Not that they had a choice.
He's like, if we don't want to do it, it's totally obligated. You have to do it. So if you don't want to do it, they ship you back to Mexico.
Going home is not an option, say the men, since the $14.80 an hour they make here allows them to support their families back in Mexico.
He's like, yeah, this is the best way for us to make money. There just isn't that much work in Mexico, especially with the pandemic.
These men, the youngest 25, are here on temporary agricultural visas known as H-2A. Farmers have to apply for the H-2A program and show there are not enough U.S. workers willing and able to harvest their crops.
I will always ask them, like, what are you being paid? Is everything okay? Are your bosses treating you all right?
All good here, said the men. Spock says she sees more single H-2A workers than migrant families these days.
Are you staying here for the whole year? Or are you going to Florida? Or?
With families, she makes sure to connect them with the organizations that help migrant children. It's the youngest ones that stay with her most.
Bye.
Minority business owners in Grand Rapids looking for support have a true champion in Dante Villarreal. A VP of the Chamber of Commerce, Business and Talent Development. It's more than just his job, it's his passion. Michelle DeSelms has his story tonight.
For Dante Villarreal, the pulse of any city beats in its neighborhoods, in the businesses that put down roots and strengthen the community.
You can tell how vibrant a community is by the businesses that are located there.
The roots run deep for Dante Villarreal.
I love seeing our greater Grand Rapids community just continue to grow and expand, and continuing to carve a place for immigrant communities, minority communities.
He plays a vital role in that growth, advocating for diversity, encouraging entrepreneurs to plant those first seeds to take advantage of opportunities he didn't have when his family first moved to West Michigan from Mexico.
My parents came here as farm workers. So mom and dad, since I was 10 years old, I was out in the fields working alongside them. And that's Michelle, I would say that's a privilege that I had, because I learned work ethic, and I learned to take care of our earth, our environment.
But when his mother got sick and could no longer work in the fields, Dante knew he had to find a new path.
Right away, I realized that, gosh, if we one day are not able to physically be harvesting, we're no use to anyone. So you had to develop your mind and had to have an education. So that was it for me. I wanted to provide better for my family, for my mom and dad, and that was the way.
It wasn't an easy road.
I didn't finish high school. I did night school because I was working doing the apple harvest here in the Sparta region.
But he earned his certificate, then became the first in his family to go to college. After graduating from GVSU, Villarreal made it his mission to help others find their way, to find their own place in the community, while honoring the journey that led him to where he is today.
I had a lot of pride in when I was doing it, but a lot more now, given what I know.
Hispanic contributions in West Michigan run long and deep, but there is one area those contributions have not been fully realized: in the City Commission chambers at Grand Rapids City Hall. But that ended with the election of Melinda Isasi, the city's first Latino commissioner. Joe LaFurgey talked to Isasi about her journey.
Do you, Melinda Isasi, solemnly swear that you'll support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan?
I do. With those two words, Melinda Isasi made history in Grand Rapids. Little did she know that less than 6 months into her term,
Just turn your head towards me, and I just ask that you breathe through it.
the city would be faced with a pandemic, a riot, and ongoing protests and debates over the way minorities are treated by Grand Rapids police. Still, Isasi has no regrets.
If anything, I still wake up very glad that I ran for office and very glad that I am at that commission table. I still believe that your local government getting involved, understanding what's happening is just so important.
The granddaughter of immigrants who worked the farm fields to the north, Isasi was born and raised in the city she now helps govern. Her parents were both educators in the Grand Rapids public schools. Isasi grew up on the southeast side, attending Catholic Central and later Grand Valley. Her heart has always remained with the city.
I've only ever lived in Grand Rapids, and I only ever see myself living here and being here.
Recognized by several organizations for her work in the community, Isasi currently leads The Source, a nonprofit that helps workforce development by providing workers with resources they need not only to keep their jobs, but to move up the ladder in their companies. She's also co-founder of the Latina Network of West Michigan, a group working to change the Latina narrative here. The decision to run for city commission in 2019 seemed natural, but it wasn't easy. Isasi faced off against Wendy Fall, the former Grand Rapids School Board president, with a well-organized campaign. Isasi beat Fall by just under 1,500 votes.
It's the honor of a lifetime, so I am just so grateful and really proud to sort of be part of that American dream and show what my American dream has been here. In Latino culture, pride and your identity and your family and who you're representing is just so important.
And while she realizes she's a role model for the Latino community, the second ward is predominantly white, with just under 7% of its residents Hispanic or Latino.
I'm always proud of who I am, and also I don't want to solely be the Latina commissioner, right? And so it's always that mixture. Latinos want good jobs, they want opportunities, they want good schools for their children to go to, they want clean drinking water, they want to purchase a home.
But she's also aware of the role she can have in the future through city commission policy decisions that impact the Latino community to an image that could impact young Latinos looking to find their place in that community.
If you can see somebody who looks like you doing elected office, it does make a difference.
In Grand Rapids, Joe LaFurgey, News 8.
Coming up next, we'll take you out to Grand Haven to see how a new initiative is educating the Lakeshore on Hispanic heritage.
Plus, we go inside the kitchen to see how one family is passing down the importance of tradition through food.
The day she was born, we found out that Claire had a hole in her heart, and that tore a hole in mine. Emergency surgery saved her life, but she'll always have this condition. So when Peter Meyer promised to repeal the law protecting people with pre-existing conditions, I think how dangerous that is. That means insurance companies could deny coverage for my daughter. It kind of puts a target on my family. We can't risk it with Peter Meyer.
I'm Hillary Skolton. I approve this message.
Did you know there is a place right here in Grand Rapids that delivers quality health care to people who can't afford it? Exalted Health. For over 20 years, Exalted Health has provided affordable medical and dental services in our community. Motivated by our Christian beliefs, we're able to serve our community through generous donations and volunteers. Support quality, affordable health care to people with limited financial resources. Go to exaltedhealth.org. Compassionate, affordable, quality.
A group in Grand Haven is working to shine a light on Latinx culture. The Tri-Cities Puentes initiative was founded in an effort to educate others on Hispanic heritage.
News 8's Whitney Burney went to the Lakeshore and she shares their message tonight.
Whether it's dancing bachata or waving a flag, the Grand Haven area is learning to move to a new tune.
The Hispanic community is very present in Grand Haven and Spring Lake and in Ferrysburg and West Olive, and just often not celebrated, and so we wanted to change that.
Jared Kramer is the co-chair of the Tri-Cities Puentes initiative. True to its name, the group works to bridge the gap between the Latinx community and others around them.
I have lived here in Grand Haven for about 23 years, and so usually when I wanted to, take part in my culture and go dancing, I always have to go to Grand Rapids.
2020 marked the second year the group put on a week-long citywide fiesta celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. While most celebrations this year were digital, the pride in their heritage could still be felt.
But when you see the Hispanic and Latinx community being celebrated, it gives you that sense of pride in your own heritage, that, hey, who I am has value and worth.
A celebration they consider a tribute to the generations before them.
My mother, for 20 years, she was a domestic worker. We stand on their shoulders, but because of them, we have been able to just provide so much more because of their sacrifices.
Something especially important to break down barriers and stereotypes.
We live in a time in which racial separation and violence and rhetoric has just skyrocketed. In particular, the way in which we view people of color and the Hispanic and Latinx community at the highest levels of our government are assumptions of violence and criminality, which are fundamentally untrue and contrary to actual stats and numbers. For people to see that the world of the Latinx and Hispanic community is gigantic, and it's a world really worth diving into, that it's great film, great music, great food, and above all, really, really good people who know how to love and have a good time.
In Grand Haven, Whitney Burney, News 8.
Still ahead, we'll introduce you to the man behind many of the beautiful murals you see around Grand Rapids. How he's using inspiration from his Latino roots.
Exalta it's a ministry that's been here doing business and working in this particular neighborhood for a long time. It was developed by a number of people, by doctors, social workers, pastors, businessmen who got together and who wanted to serve the medical needs of this particular neighborhood. As a matter of fact, one of the founders of this particular operation is a physician who still volunteers here. And that's an amazing history, because we started as something called Health Intervention Services. And just maybe, I think it was 3 years ago, when Bill Paxton was director of this operation, we changed the name to Exalta because it translates better in Spanish than Health Intervention Services.
Exalted Health's patients have been traditionally those have been right around us. We have a large percent that are Hispanic or Latino. 65% of them say their first language is Spanish. We also have people coming from as far north as Mount Pleasant, different places. Wherever they may not be able to have insurance, they do hear about us and come. So it's traditionally more of a neighborhood clinic, I would say, but we have people who come from all over the local zip codes. You have people who've really only gone to the hospital when they're dying or when they're really sick. So part of our job here is to make it a medical home. I think healthcare workers are putting themselves out there, as we should during a pandemic. And I'm just really proud to support our hospitals who have led and guided us. You know, we are just a very small part of that, but it's exciting to be part of the healthcare community in Grand Rapids.
We do medical, we can do dental, we do counseling. We have a chaplain who also meets the patients. And we can get almost anything that a patient needs done.
We get to know them, and they no longer are just a patient, but you know their lives and you care about them. They become part of your community, and that's what we're here for.
If you've spent time around Grand Rapids, odds are you've seen his art. Picardo, a Grand Rapids-based artist, is using his Latino roots and love for bright, vibrant colors.
News 8's Jacqueline Francis caught up with Picardo to talk about his journey to West Michigan and how the community has embraced him.
Meet the man behind the murals, Eric Picardo, or just Picardo.
Many people call me by my last name because they identify that actually with my art business, Picardo.
Born and raised in the Dominican Republic, he first came to West Michigan 18 years ago and now considers Grand Rapids home.
And this is the place right now that I feel that I belong.
With more than a dozen of his murals spread throughout the city, the community has come to embrace Picardo's artistic style, one inspired by his Caribbean and Latino roots. But the getting here wasn't easy.
And I see people basically slapping the door in front of my face. As soon as I mention, I'm proud to be African Caribbean. Believe it or not, that happened with me probably the first 5 years.
Slowly, and ever so subtly, he began incorporating culture into his pieces.
This is a very conservative area in West Michigan. So I had to play around and figure out how to keep promoting that part, which is important for me, but not maybe too obvious in a way.
Today, he's known for being bold, playing with heavy brushstrokes and bright colors.
You can kind of identify my work with a full of colors, a lot of energy, you know, joyful thing.
Why the bold colors? What does that represent?
Yeah, I think it's something that running on my vein. The bold color is a representation also of the Latino people. We are happy, even though we're dealing, for example, with a lot of poverty and corruption in our countries, we are happy.
With each mural, he looks to share a message.
This particular element is about peace. As you see the dove, a representation of peace.
Seeing every brick wall as another blank canvas to make his mark.
The challenge is actually who drive me into that particular process. And then to see the result to the end is just like a refreshing thing. Wow, yes, we can, yes, you can.
Reporting in Grand Rapids, Jacqueline Francis, News 8.
The COVID pandemic has been especially hard on the Hispanic community. Up next, we'll show you how the Hispanic Center of West Michigan is lending a hand to those in need.
In Grand Rapids, the Hispanic Center of West Michigan is working to educate people about different cultures within our community. Not only that, with the COVID-19 pandemic, things have been pretty tough on the Hispanic community. The group is offering help to those in the community who may need that help navigating these difficult times.
Right now with COVID and everything that is going politically, we just want to make sure that we all feel okay. From finding, PPE gear, which has been a little bit hard. And right now, within our community,
Officials with the Hispanic Center say they would typically host more events to mark this month, but due to COVID-19, they're focusing on keeping everyone safe.
Miranda visited with a West Michigan family to learn how they're honoring their heritage through food and family.
As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, one of the things that I think is so beautiful is how family passes on the importance of culture and tradition through food. We're here at the Torres family in Grand Rapids. Let's see what's cooking.
We're gonna make a rice in a mole.
What is this?
Mole.
Javier is a chef at Maggie's Kitchen, and Elizabeth is a director at New City Kids. It's important to them that their 4 children learn about their Mexican heritage.
I want them to learn how to make Mexican food.
Just keeping our culture alive and having them know how important that is. I think that really is very important for just a positive self-identity as well, for them to know where they come from and where their parents and ancestors came from.
Preparing meals and eating together is important to this family. It's a chance to pass on stories and traditions.
My name is Daisy, and I made flan.
Hi, my name is Mario. I'm 14, and tonight I'm helping make the tortillas.
The food was delicious, but even more delightful was the way this family gathers around the table to celebrate their Hispanic heritage every day.
I hope they feel pride, pride in their culture and where they come from.
We're going to pause for a quick break right now, but coming up next, we go inside a vibrant Grand Rapids brewery.
How the owner is using his ties to Puerto Rico to serve up a unique experience.
As part of this special to celebrate Hispanic heritage, we're taking a closer look at the businesses in our community that make a difference.
News 8's Emily Littert introduces us to one man putting his heritage into his product in a subtle way.
In Beer City, USA, it can be hard to stand out in the crowd.
I just thought that the culture was really interesting, the culture of beer.
For the last 3.5 years, Edwin Collazo has been building a name for himself as owner of CityBuilt Brewing. He's bringing his Puerto Rican heritage along for the ride and giving people in Grand Rapids a taste of what it's all about.
I'm realizing now, as we get into it, that it's like Puerto Rican.
Oh, what's that?
I made it up. Puerto Rican is actually someone else made it up, and I'm totally stealing it.
Yeah. Puerto Rican-inspired food influenced by multiple Latin cultures is served up alongside craft beers, a passion Edwin brought from his home brewing days.
I think I get, hey, did you always have a dream of having a brewery? And I didn't. Not at all.
The path to CityBuilt was not a straight line for Edwin. He's been a teacher, worked in manufacturing, and was a financial planner for years. These days, he's sharing his Puerto Rican heritage with the community, and that begins with first sharing it with his employees.
That's why CityBuilt is here, is to kind of share our culture and what it means to be in a Puerto Rican spot, like what hospitality looks like, and for us to love on people in our space. That was the point.
As customers feast on their Puerto Rican tacos and brews, some will miss the Puerto Rican roots Edwin puts into his product, but he hopes they don't miss the hospitality.
I wanted to develop culture that I thought was positive, uplifting, and so this was part of it, is to create a space where we first loved on the people who worked for us and with us, helping us get to what we wanted to do and getting them to buy into what we were trying to do for our city.
Well, that does it for our special tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
You can watch all of these stories, including this 30-minute special, right now on woodtv.com. Just click the link under the Community tab.